Hello and welcome to The Real Hernando, presented to you by Wesley Meadows Retirement Community and produced by SRP Studios Podcasting. This podcast spotlights Hernando, Mississippi's businesses, organizations, and community leaders. You will learn more about each business and or organization and what they provide to you and get to know the person behind it all. Please follow us at therealhernando.com for all channels and social media platforms. Now, a word from our sponsor. Each day at Wesley Meadows is a new opportunity to serve older adults and reimagine retirement living. It is the heart of their mission that inspires their team to provide the kind of fun atmosphere and care residents would want for themselves. Experience the warm spirit and faith-based difference of Wesley Meadows. Call 662-429-2070 and schedule your visit today. Welcome back. I'm your host, Derek, and today we are spotlighting CrossFit Hammered Steel. Their mission is to help you, quote, change your life with us. It isn't the scientific sum of calories, workouts, and weight that keeps their members returning. It isn't the cutting-edge equipment and the technology. It is the people who count. Their staff cares about guiding and encouraging each member to obtain the goals they seek. The members' goals are specific, and they can assist them in realizing their aspirations, truly helping them change their lives. Today with me is owner and head coach Jordan Garrison.
Hello.
What's up, Jordan?
Man, not much. Trying to stay dry.
I know, right? It's just starting to mist out here.
Yeah.
This is probably going to, air in January. For context, it's the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And pleasure, talking to you for a good 15 minutes before we fired this thing up.
Yeah, likewise.
I didn't know you were a musician.
Yeah.
And we know a lot of the same people. It's really cool. But today, right now, at this moment, we're talking about CrossFit Hammered Steel. So thanks for being here. I want to educate the community on what it is CrossFit offers and what you do and your story behind it. So let's start with that. Tell us a little more about your business.
Yeah, first, thanks for having me. Pleasure getting to meet you and have this opportunity to share what we do. At CrossFit Hammered Steel, we're just looking to help people lead a healthier, more fulfilled life. Many times, as we age, it's like, I can't fill in the blank, right? And really, the reason that we, sort of decline is like the aging process is part of that, but it's accelerated because we just choose to stop doing things. And a lot of that's just kind of fed into us, right? I'm 40, I'm 50, I can't pull up anymore, or I can't, fill in the blank. And it's just not true, right? You stop doing it, you lose those abilities. If you start doing it again, you can regain them. So our goal is to help people improve their wellness through fitness and a strong community, right? So our main focus is building a group of people that are on a similar journey and growing relationships, right? Because the key thing is not the exercises that you're doing; it's the people that are around you. Being accountable and consistent, and that's only done through relationships.
Community.
So that's our main focus. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's our focus.
Yeah, you can lean on the other person if someone's struggling. People can help out. It's just a good camaraderie thing, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
When you think about it, like if you and I are working out together, life happens. I'm too busy this week. I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
Chances are you're probably going to get busy as, by proxy, right? And then before you know it, like we've both kind of fallen out. Whereas like if there's a group of people, I have a lot more people that are looking out for me,
I can attest to all of that for two reasons. You wouldn't know now that I used to work out. The camera adds 20 pounds too, by the way, people. Just be careful out there. But I've always through the years tried to, I'd go in and out of gyms.
Yeah.
I started the Memphis kickboxing thing back in like 2016. And because I walked, when I knew was going to walk through that door and then there'd be a group of people, each with their own bag. And the instructor says, here we go. And 45 minutes later, I'd walk out soaked. Never once left early, felt accountable. I was a part of a group, a part of a room, part of a team. Never left early, and I enjoyed going back and stuck with it for a couple of years. Where so many times I'd go try to work out on my own, quit.
Yeah.
And then I was in a position, fortunately, for a while there where I was actually able to have a private one-on-one trainer man, that was so great.
Mm-hmm.
I need someone. I need that group
Right.
in order for me to hang. So is that do you hear a lot of feedback on that from your customers and clients?
Yeah, I mean, it is, like I said, it's key to what we're doing, right? I mean, we do some one-on-one stuff as well, and I mean, we meet everybody where they are, but it's really having that broader group. You got to have that person or group of people that's going to help you stay accountable. And like you said, like when I come in, when I come in, we're all there with the same objective. And the other thing is like being able to come in and being told what to do. Most everyone, if I give you a list of things, like we like to kind of check the box.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Right? So if, we take care of all the programming, we do all of that. You literally show up for class. We take you through your warm-up. We put you through your workout. We teach you all the skills that you need to do. At some point, it's like a lot of people are like, well, I can't do pull-ups. Well, you can't do them yet, but we're going to show you progressions to help you to do that. Derek, you walk into a class and we'll have, a 20-year-old athlete, just slinging sweat and snot everywhere, I've got some folks that are in their late 60s, still doing this thing. Mm-hmm. Some of them have no athletic background at all and didn't start until their 60s, So it literally is designed to just get you moving, right? We think about wellness on a continuum, right? And this isn't my idea. This is from the CrossFit founder, but they have the sick wellness fit continuum. And if you think about it, like sick is on the far left-hand side, right? Your tank is empty. Well would be right in the middle, and fit would be to the far right side. Now, obviously, you don't want to be at the extremes for any long period of time. Excessively fit, right? You think about like elite athletes. That's what people a lot of times think when they hear the word CrossFit, It's like, wow, I see these people doing this. There's no way. It's like, yeah, you also can't play in the NFL. Nobody's asking you to do that, right? So, but what we want to do is we want to take you from sick to well. That's our goal.
Yeah.
If you so desire to go beyond that, we have the tools to do that as well. Our methodology works for it. But our biggest goal is to get people well and have them lead, like I said, healthy and fulfilled lives.
So what exactly do they do in the gym? What do your programs look like? Classes look like? How does that work?
Good question. So we, like I said, we take everyone through warm up. You've got two different types of warm ups. We're going to do a general warm up where we're just going to get your blood flowing, right? We're just going to raise the core temperature. After that, we're going to move into something that's a little bit more specific to whatever we're doing for the day. And then in general, we're going to have you're going to have two components. We're going to teach you how to do either a strength or gymnastics movement. So we're going to be teaching you a lift on strength days, and then with the gymnastics, obviously, we're teaching you some body weight function. So whether it's pull-ups or sometimes it's just different variations of sit-ups, push-ups, teaching people how to do a push-up properly.
Do you do planking?
We do some of that. We do some of that. And then you'll have the main workout, which we refer to as Metcon, which is basically your conditioning piece. And it's going to look different every day, right? It's constantly varied, but that doesn't mean random. We design programs that make sure we hit the entire body. There are cycles that we'll go through where we'll focus, maybe I'm working more on shoulder development, this week, and then the next week is legs. Now, to the average person, you're going to come in and it's like, man, we do legs every day. Oh, and we do back every day. Oh, we do, because we're using these compound movements where you're moving through various range of motion all the time. I can teach you to do, bicep curls, but that doesn't translate real well to your fitness. I mean, there's nothing wrong with bicep curls, but you could look good on the magazine and not be fit. You know what I'm saying?
There's a way to work all your muscles at the same time. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And we use what we call functional movements because they mimic real life patterns, right? So if I'm having to move things around the house, well, we want you to be able to move in the right way. Don't lift with your legs, not your back, right? Like that's the easiest way.
Heard that a million times.
Exactly. Sure. So everything we do, we're trying to teach you these proper mechanics, not just to move a barbell or a kettlebell or anything else. Those same movement patterns apply to moving furniture around the house, right? Picking up the dog food or whatever.
Picking up the baby. I know when I became a dad, you realize, man, like I'm all day picking up a 15-pound sack of potatoes off the floor without thinking about doing it properly.
Yeah, and they're squirming and flipping around.
You just don't think about it. It's
exactly.
It's like when you're in the warehouse, you're trying to think of it the right way, but when it's to your kid on the floor, you don't like, okay, square up and let's go down. You just come on. You pick them up and you move on.
That's right.
And why does my back hurt? Oh, it's my little munchkin on the floor. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't, if you don't really know those proper mechanics, like that's what happens. Your body finds the path of least resistance. And so most of us have learned bad movement patterns over the years because it's what's comfortable. You've got deficiencies in various muscle groups. So your body finds that, well, if I grab, like you say, if I grab the child from way over here, right? Don't do that. Now all of a sudden my back's out, So
grounded.
That's right. Exactly.
I know when I was able to do the one-on-one training, he was really good at kind of just scanning my body, like, okay, what's going on? Yeah. And at first I was like, man, we're not doing anything. We're just doing these little things. But holy crap, did it work out? Because he knew exactly where to work. I had issues with my hip flexor. I was in balance. It was basically my glutes. One wasn't firing, right? They weren't engaging, and let's work on that. When a new customer or client, whatever you want to call it, comes in, do you do something similar? Like, all right, what's going on with you? Are you having issues with shoulders, back, hip, knees? Or your knee? Do you kind of go through the process?
Absolutely. So when we when you come in, we're going to do a consult. Number one, we want to understand, what are you looking for? What are you wanting to do? Right?
What do you want to accomplish?
Yeah. Are you just trying to look good in the mirror? Is there a specific fitness goal? Right? Like, whether it's I want to run a race or compete in this thing, or it's like, hey, I'd really like to just be able to keep up with my children. They're playing these sports and I can't really participate. I'd like to be able to do that. We're gonna understand all those things. We're also going to ask those questions. Hey, what sort of background do you have in fitness or sport? What injuries have you incurred over the years? Whether they still nag you or not, we want to know what those are, because chances are there is some deficiency that you're not even aware of, right? If you've had any significant injury, your body, like I said, your body's searching for that path of least resistance, right? So now you've probably got some compensatory movement patterns. So we're going to look for that. All of our classes are led by a certified trained coach. They've got hours and hours and hours of experience watching athletes. And so in a class context, we're looking at everyone. And so I'm going to be able to notice some of these things. Now, obviously, the more that we work with you, the more that we will know and be able to adjust. But having that consult in the beginning helps us to make sure coaches are aware. So whatever class you show up for, they know kind of what to look out for based on what's going on for the day.
Because people have maybe had 3 shoulder surgeries. So like the shoulder workout is probably going to be a little different for that person.
That's right.
You want to make sure and be aware of that.
Exactly.
You don't want to hurt anybody.
That's exactly right.
Obviously.
But we also want to teach you that just because you've had an injury doesn't mean that you can't strengthen those muscles again. Yeah. Because the common misconception, shoulders especially, right? I'll have guys come in all the time, I messed up my shoulder in football back in the early 90s, and now it just constantly gives me trouble. Well, it gives you trouble because you don't do anything with it 90% of the time. Right. Yeah. And so we're going to teach you how to train that shoulder again, get it through a proper range of motion, then we'll worry about really building strength. And building strength doesn't mean heavy weights, right? Heavy is a relative term. So, and that's what our coaches are trained to do, to make sure that you're staying safe. We take the ego out of it. It's like, let's get you moving through the right range of motion in the proper pattern. Then we can start worrying about adding load.
What do the memberships look like? How does that work?
So most of our people are on 1 year. Our dues are every 4 weeks. but we also have some paid in full options. And you can go month to month, but most of our people are doing that. So, and that gives you unlimited access. We don't do any sort of limited, like 2 or 3 times a week. We just find that doesn't work. Again, consistency is key.
So you don't have like tiers.
No.
Where a 2-day-a-week class is X amount and 3 days a week.
Yeah, we don't do that. And just because, like I said, I find that really doesn't work. The idea is consistency. And also, if I put you on 2 days a week, Monday and Wednesday doesn't work for me this week. Okay, so now I got to adjust. Yeah. And there's all these other back end things. Now the client's worrying about, well, who do I call to make a substitution for my planned day? Mm-hmm. Just come into one of the classes and take care of it. We want you to be in. We want everyone to be at least 3 days a week. That's kind of the goal. Some people start out just 2, and that's fine. But at least 3 to get the results you're looking for.
What are the hours of your store?
So our classes, we have 5 and 9 a.m. in the morning, and then we have classes at 4:30, 5:30, and 6:30 in the evenings, Monday through Friday. Saturdays, 9 a.m. only. And then on Sundays, we have open gym from 2 to 4, and then we run open gym Monday through Friday between the hours of 10 and 4 in between classes.
7 days a week you're open?
7 days a week. And so even if you can't make a class, you still have access to the facility. Mm-hmm. And I have clients call me all the time like, hey, I'm not going to make it today. What do I need to know about this? What should I do? We're there for you.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So I see you're from Hernando?
I am.
Originally?
Actually, I graduated from Hernando High School. I grew up here. I've been here majority of my life. I've moved away twice, and I'm just going to be here.
This pulls you right back.
There's no need to go anywhere else.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved here in 2021, and it was a destination that I wanted to make for a while, and I finally got here. Yeah. I love it here, too.
It's great.
I moved here. A big part of it was because of my daughter in schooling. Mm-hmm. Now she's a junior in the same high school you were in.
Yeah.
She's got... Her senior year will be in the new school.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
she's going to be able to. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad she gets to experience it for 1 year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've seen some changes around here too.
Definitely. I mean, my dad years ago they used to own the cleaners behind the AutoZone up there.
Okay.
Chisholm's Cleaners. Yeah. It was a family business. Of course, I was really young when they sold that, but so I've been around town. Like, AutoZone used to be Sonic.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Cool. I'm going to pick your brain.
Okay.
Because when you got off the highway and took a left on Commerce, it was nothing, right? Just a big field where Walmart was?
Where Walmart was, yes. Yeah. But like, that service station there on the left wasn't there. The bank, what is it? First Security, I think it is right there. That used to actually be a service station. It was one of the last like full service stations around in town. And then I'm trying to think that the Guadalajara Mexican restaurant, that actually used to be a club. It was a sports bar and nightclub.
Did they have live entertainment there?
They did.
Nice.
They did. Yeah.
There was a place called The Spot, right?
The Spot,
which is over where like Bazaars is now, right?
Funny enough, that was our old location. We just moved. We were actually in that building, and Bazaars has taken it over. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're on Memphis Street.
Correct.
1725 Memphis Streat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They they're redoing that building or whatever, and we had an opportunity to get some more space. So
bigger place now.
Yeah, much bigger.
Now a Lego store is going in there. Bricks and minifigs.
Mm-hmm. My boys are excited about that.
Do you know Kevin Thorne? Do you know the owner?
I don't.
Yeah, I'm excited. My daughter's excited. I'm going to try to get her in there. Try to get her a job there.
Oh man!
I'm like, hon, do you want to work at a Lego store?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dad needs some discounts on this stuff, right?
So, I loved Fred's. I loved Fred's, and I miss Fred's. There was one down here, right? If I remember correctly.
Yep.
Was it next to Complete Home Care?
Yeah, it's where the Dollar Tree is now.
The new Dollar Tree is now, and was Jenkins Flooring.
That's
for a while. And I was glad to experience before they tore it down. Unfortunately, that old antique store. I never walked in there. Had you ever gone in there?
Yes, but I mean years and years ago. We went. Mostly when the one that we would go to, So my dad was really into that stuff. Was Kilgore's on 51.
Okay.
And I think it's still there.
Oh, and when you head south down the hill?
Yeah.
Right there on the left?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. It's hard to miss that one.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you feel about the roundabout? Are you like the people out there that are so against it, or are you good with it?
No, I think it's good. We actually we used to live on that side of town, and during school, man, it was always a pain trying to get through there.
Coming out of Oak Grove.
Yeah, I think it's a great addition, honestly.
Me too.
Yeah,
I like it too.
It looks nice too. I mean, they did a great job with it.
It does look, and it's surprising how fast. Once they finally broke ground, they got it done pretty quickly.
It was quick, yeah,
which was really cool. Awesome. So, enthusiast in the fitness world, pretty much does it look like most of your life? Here it says 3 decades. How old are you?
For a long time, yeah, 38. So I started just working out at the house. My dad bought me a couple of dumbbells. The old plastic ones filled with concrete.
I remember those. Yeah.
And so I started doing stuff then. And but most of the early time was like really focused on like bodybuilding type stuff. Arnold Schwarzenegger was in all the movies I was watching, and so that was kind of the initial inspiration. But into my teen years, I went to work at a local gym, in South Haven, and they taught me how to train people. They taught me some good principles, and I got the opportunity to work with folks, and discovered that I worked with athletes and bodybuilders and people that were trying to compete in various sport. But what I really enjoyed was, the elderly people that I was working with, like taking someone's great grandmother who couldn't walk to her mailbox and getting her out of the wheelchair, off the walker, and off oxygen. I mean, it was just
wow.
Those things were really impactful to me.
That's when you're truly changing a life.
Exactly.
I mean, the quality of life for an elder means everything, right?
Yeah.
What else do they have? If they're chair ridden, man,
you just lose. Like losing your independence.
Right.
I think anyone can relate that. Like that would be awful, but I don't know that we can really fathom what that means. Right. I mean, like when you see people, I don't think I even understand the depth of despair that I would feel if that were the case. And it happens. Unfortunately, there are conditions where like there is no alternative for people. But by and large, most of us lose our independence, and it's a slow process of poor choices when we're young, that lead us there.
Even stretching, right? Is that why yoga is so effective? Because of just the stretching of your joints?
Yeah. Being able to move your body through a specific range of motion. Like if you don't use it, you will lose it.
There you go.
It's true. Like there's squatting is it's a natural movement for us. Like we do it all the time. You can look at your grandparents; they probably don't do that very much anymore. Right. And it's not because they're 80 or 90 years old. It's because they haven't done it for 30 or 40 years. Yeah. And so the joints just stop moving through those patterns.
I know the time's ticking for me. I'm 46, fixing to be 47. Well, by the time this airs, I just had a birthday.
Yeah.
47 years old. And for the last few years, I've let myself go. And I call it my dad chair.
Yeah.
I have my chair, my TV.
Yeah.
And that voice behind is like, better get it together, bro. Better it's not going to get easier.
That's right.
Get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Right now it's time to, it's like right now I know if I really start focusing and just follow a good path, I'll be a healthy 60-year-old.
Yeah.
A healthy 65-year-old. But if I wait until I'm 60, it's just much harder.
That's right.
It gets harder and harder, right?
That's exactly right.
It's
choosing not to do something is still a choice, right? And so what you're really doing is, you're signing up for a bad quality of life, later on. It's just a question of when, those choices are going to, settle in. But people also think that you've got to, live and die in the gym, like that's not.
And I've made that mistake.
Yeah.
When I was in the kickboxing thing, I wasn't eating right. I was doing too much. I ended up hurting myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was counterintuitive. But But it's also one of the issues I have, and I'm sure a lot of people do, is they want results quickly.
Yeah.
They want to see a better person in the mirror. They want to lose weight really fast. Right. But it's a long game. Mm-hmm. And that's what I keep trying to tell myself. Yep. But I'm like, this is like psychotherapy here, Jordan. Because you'll wake up 60.
I'm not registered, just so you know, right?
Right. Yeah, a little disclaimer
right.
there. But yeah, it's one of those things where it seems like it's a long path and slow progress. But the day you wake up and you're 60 years old, you're going to be grateful for that time put in.
Yeah. That's an important part of what we do too is helping people see that, because you're looking at yourself in the mirror every day at some point or another.
Yeah.
So you don't see the little things that happen. But when we go back and say, hey, just 30 days ago, look, Derek, this is what you've done.
Yeah.
What? Really?
And when you zoom out, timeline wise.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
And you do that. Everything, we always think about that, kind of the before and after, physical transformation, but we're also doing that on your physical abilities as well. Like I said, a lot of people come in and it's like, I can't do a pull-up. Well, and you can't do one yet. Yeah. 30, 60, 90 days later, they're like, well, it's funny how we do it, because we'll see this progression where, they come in, I can't do a pull-up. So we work through that, and suddenly they're doing pull-ups. Well, now they're like, well, I can't do 10 of them in a row. Well, yeah, you could do 0 when you started. Now you've got 5, so the marker just keeps moving. And it's important for us to make sure that we keep some perspective. And that's one of the things that we try to do with our clientele, because it's very easy. Like you said, we want results now.
Yeah.
Well, results are happening. They're just, we're always focused on the end point. It's like, there are little steps that are taking you to that end point.
Yeah. You know the saying, you can't see the forest through the trees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when it works out, it's like, that's what you're looking at.
You're
looking at the forest.
That's right.
You're just going right around the trees.
Uh-huh.
And like, that's the goal I want.
Right.
The end game.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get caught up in that.
Yeah.
And get discouraged.
Yeah.
I'm speaking for myself
unnecessarily,
here.
right? Unnecessarily.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to throw away. It's so easy for us to throw away our progress. And I've done the same thing, still sometimes I have to, talk myself back down, or, some of my coaches will be like, hey dude, why aren't you showing up and working like I normally see you?
So they're holding you accountable.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's, and when you look at business coaching, not every, but the business coach, your business coach has a coach, and that coach has a coach. Mm-hmm. More often than not,
right.
There's a line of people just coaching down.
Yeah.
And because even your business coach needs to be held accountable.
Yeah, everybody
and needs to learn
it.
Something new.
That's right.
And needs to be pushed.
Yeah.
Which makes them that professional business coach. Mm-hmm. And then their coach is getting the same on the back end.
That's right.
Yeah.
And, just like you were talking about before, zooming out, like your perspective is always limited, right? Mm-hmm. But someone from the outside looking in, regardless of their experience, can always help teach you something. And sometimes it's just something small. Like we said, I keep going back to the pull-up example, but it's really easy for people to say, I can't do whatever. That's what we always tend to focus on. But then there's someone else that's watching you. They see where you came from. You get reminded about that, and you didn't even know you were inspiring somebody the whole time,
If he could do it, I could do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do a pull-up in school. And eventually I got there, and I certainly can again. But I know I could,
You could.
Jordan.
That's right.
But I was that kid that, man, I was so embarrassed. Back in the day, too, when they used to make you climb the ropes. I don't think they do that anymore.
We do.
But it's high school,
Not in
middle school.
Yeah, you're right.
I think there's a liability issue there now, falling 40 feet from the rope. But I never couldn't do the pull-ups. I was what was called husky.
Oh, gotcha.
I was fat. I know I was a chunky little kid, but I know how embarrassing that can be too. So let's talk about vulnerability. I'm sure people come in and they're just a little nervous because they might be afraid of being looked at a certain way, like they can't do something. And I would gather, of course, you make sure the atmosphere is positive, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We recognize that. We all started at, training. We had a first day just like everybody else.
Yeah.
So all of our folks are very welcoming. That's why we don't have a focus on athletes. We're happy to work with athletes, and we're going to cater to your needs. We're going to help you, but our focus is to build the community that is supportive to help people get healthy and well. And so when you come in, we do anything from, most people will come in, we do our consult, we get them into class so that they can experience it. When you go into class, you just kind of blend in, right? The coach is looking for the same thing from everybody. But then, there's also instances where we'll take someone and we just work with them one-on-one for a couple of sessions so that they kind of build some confidence, right? We want to make sure that they understand, like, you are capable of doing all of this, right? And so we show them how that's possible. We take them through, we answer their questions. And then, ideally, like, we're getting them to class as quickly as possible so that they can begin to build the relationships with the rest of our community.
So I also see here that you've competed in bodybuilding?
Yeah, bodybuilding, powerlifting, CrossFit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what age were you when you started competing?
I started powerlifting competitions around 17, 18. Started some bodybuilding competitions in my early 20s, and kind of bounced back and forth for a few years. And then competing in CrossFit. So I've been doing CrossFit now for, I guess, 8 or 9 years, and I've competed, just about every year.
Still to this day?
Yeah.
You're still competing every year?
Just local stuff, but, it's a way for me to kind of challenge myself, right?
Yeah.
Like, because it is sometimes easy to, like, okay, this is how I approach this type of workout, so I'm going to do that thing. And then, going to competition, it's like, you take the brakes off, and so I kind of learned that, like, hey, I can push past that a little bit more before I.
Well, it's giving you something to work towards.
Exactly.
Again, going back to accountability.
Yep.
My buddy Coach Camp, who you're going to meet after this session, I mentioned that. Him and our friend Manny are coming in. He's one of those guys that wants to run a marathon in every state. He's like 33 states in, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Sorry if I got that wrong, Coach.
So impressive.
he jogged for, I forget how many years now it's been. I think it's like 3 to 4 years now. He's jogged 2 miles every day. Rain, he's got his treadmill or he goes outside. And now he's done a 50-mile, crazy 50-mile run. Well, now, and he's done Ironman. Well, now he's looking at, and when you look at him though, he's going to walk in and you're going to be like, really, you? I'm just
a normal dude, right?
Well, now he's looking at this 100-mile race that he wants to do. But that goal, that thought, and that idea is now pushing him to do 5 miles a day every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Without having that, without you having that moment of competition, you wouldn't push yourself as hard, would you?
Not necessarily. And it's all relative, right? It works well for me. It's something that helps. It's how I keep myself engaged, is always having kind of that next thing to go do. And competition is a great way for me to do that. But, it's not necessary, again, with the group environment, building the community and walking into a class, like, even if you're not really competitive, you're beside me. I'm trying to make sure that I can keep up with you, or stay a little bit ahead of you at least.
Absolutely.
There's just that element versus like I said, I'm going to walk in to a gym by myself, develop my own program, which, let's face it, most of us don't do. We walk in, it's like, oh, I'm going to do shoulders today.
Yeah.
You pick a few machines, and like you said, I'm bored of this. I'm walking out.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's the advantage of the group environment as well. We hear this a lot, and I think this is just kind of a part of human nature, right? Like blending in means like I need to kind of do everything everybody else is doing, and that's where a good coach comes in, because what we want to do is we want to make sure that ego's left at the door.
Right.
And hey, if you can't do all these push-ups we're asking you to do on your toes, then don't even try. Not today. Let's make sure that the movement patterns are right. And that's what we as coaches are looking for. Like maybe you can get some, but if you're having to flare your arms out and you've got all this weird body posture that could, create some problems, we don't want that. And we're going to come talk to you and walk you through that.
You're not there yet.
That's
you
right.
can be there.
That's
but
right.
we don't want to get hurt either.
Exactly. And all of our workouts are with a certain intent, right? So we want you to finish this body of work in a certain amount of time as well. So don't just do what's written down like you see everybody else doing it for the sake of doing it. Like I need you to hit all of that work in this time domain, which may mean that we make adjustments. We may even adjust some of the rep ranges. You might not do as many today. That's okay. We're going to work that out together, and we're going to build you up
setting
to that.
goals.
That's right.
Yeah,
because we want to keep intensity high, but that doesn't mean max effort. You can't do max effort every day.
Yeah.
So
not even you.
No
one can.
Especially me.
Let's talk about how people can get involved. So if someone's watching or listening and they're really interested to learn more, what's their first step? Do they contact you personally or do they just call the front desk? Or?
Well, the easiest way is to visit our website.
Okay, which is
CrossFitHS.com.
All right.
And in there you can set up a free trial. From there we'll contact you and we'll get you scheduled. You can actually do everything. You can schedule your own class through our website, but we'll contact you once that's done. Like I said, we'll do the intake, kind of get a rundown of what you're looking to do, try to understand all of that, get you in class, take you through a class, and we'll sit down and talk about goals and what that looks like.
I'm assuming the phone number's on the website, but the one you gave me here, just for good measure, 901-567-0741.
That works. Our number to the front desk is on the website.
Okay.
So either of those numbers is fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Check that out. Again, CrossFitHS.com. Before we wrap up, is there anything that we're missing here? Is there anything that you'd like to add that you feel like we haven't covered that you feel is important for people to hear?
I don't know. I think we've covered a lot. I think the main thing I would just remind people, it's like they hear CrossFit and they think about CrossFit sport. That's not what we're doing. If it's something you're interested in, we can certainly help you get there. But our goal is to help people live healthier, more fulfilled lives through fitness, and it is possible. So yeah, don't be afraid to do it. We're just regular people, right? Having a good time.
That's it. It's a fun community, right? And it's a place of supportive people.
Yeah, and
coaches just wanting to better your life.
Yeah,
and I need to take note on all of this.
Yeah, come by and see us sometime. We'll take you through. Well, one thing I will add is we have started a kids program.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
We started that a couple months ago, just kind of testing the waters, right? Like I've got 4 children. They're all in sports, but they've been around fitness with me and my wife, since they were born. Matter of fact, most of them were in car seats in the gym while we were working out the whole time. But we wanted to get kids involved. We want them to understand that like fitness is fun, and it's not just lifting weights and stuff in a gym. Like it's just playing outside.
Yeah.
I read a statistic the other day that over 50% of the men between the ages of 18 and 25 don't even qualify for the physical standards for armed forces.
Okay.
And it's a fairly, like when you think about it. Like it's a fairly low bar just for entry, right? And so to think that kids from 18 to 25, over half of those aren't fit. Like that's just wild. When we were growing up, you were outside all day long.
Yeah.
Your mom would dare you to even look at the door, much less come inside in the middle of the day.
It's crazy when I think about it. Like I would never let my daughter, when she was 12, hop on a bike and disappear with no way to contact. It's wild to think that now, but we got that.
That's what we did.
I mean, we got to do that.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so we started this kids program with the goal of just teaching children that fitness is fun. So we're teaching them. We're using the CrossFit methodology. We are teaching them how to lift properly. But we're doing it through a lot of different games and things like that. There's some structured learning, but we do that every Monday and Wednesday. We have a class at 4:30 and a class at 5:30.
Yeah,
we've got there's monthly membership available, or you could just pay for the drop in. Just drop in one time, see how you like it. Because with ball schedules and different things like that, maybe this couple of months works, but then the next couple of months, there's no way. That's fine. That's why we have it designed that way. So I'd encourage people to check that out. Something they're interested in.
So cool, man. It's a pleasure getting to know you here and meeting
Likewise.
you.
Thanks for having me.
A small world. He's a musician too, everyone. Bass player.
Yeah.
We could do a whole other episode on that. Right?
Yeah, maybe next time, right?
Well, before we say goodbye, Jordan, thank you to the listeners. We appreciate you hanging out this long. Again, if you're interested, let me go back to the website here. What is it? CrossFitHS.com.
CrossFitHS.com.
Please go check that out. Patronize that website. Look through the classes. Find all the information. And, hey, it doesn't hurt to step in and meet the fine folks over there at CrossFit. So, and go to the rhythm, not the rhythm section. That's another podcast. TheRealHernando.com. And you can find our links for Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and we're even on TikTok, everyone. I don't care.
There you go.
You're 47 years old, you can still be on TikTok.
That's right.
And to our wonderful sponsors and our title sponsor, Wesley Meadows Retirement Community, thank you for adding the fuel to this mission. We do appreciate you. And Jordan Garrison, man, pleasure meeting you. Thanks for doing this. And we hope we can spread the word for you.
Yep. Thanks, Derek.
All right, y'all. Thank you, and have a great day.